Hi, everyone. Today, and welcome to the Virtual Power Teams podcast. Today, we have a very exciting guest. Every time it's exciting, but in a very different level and reaching, world standards of excellence. Today, we have with us Manuel Pistner. And Manuel is an entrepreneur. He has several businesses. He will mention about that. He's a karate master, so he's a tough guy, don't mess with him. And he's a virtual business owner. So he will mention about the scale of the business, the virtual business that he's managed to grow. So Manuel, welcome to the Virtual Power Teams podcast. And please tell us your story, how it happened, where it started in order to go to this virtual business owner and karate master on top.
Yeah, hi, Peter. Thanks. I'm very excited to be on this podcast here. Thanks for your invitation. I mean, it was a long story, but let me start from 2006. I became a freelancer, started my business doing software development right after I finished my karate career. Then I had a lot of energy, so I need to do something else, right? That's when I started my business. And I've built my business in a way that most other businesses are built. It was really hierarchical. It was me being the manager for everyone, me being on the top of the hierarchy, and then telling everyone what they should do. Until 2011, I hired like employees. I had 10 people, and then the business has grown. But also my workload has grown significantly, and it became more and more complex every year because it was harder to find skilled talent. And as I have the Pride Solutions, which is a software development agency, we rely on talent, right? They deliver the services. And if it gets harder to find these people every year, then the job gets more stressful every year. And in 2012, I realized when I visited some exhibitions in different tech communities that there are very smart people on our globe, and they are not just necessarily in Darmstadt in Germany where my office was. But I just limited myself with 100 kilometers around my office because I was just looking for local people. And then I thought, okay, that's a good opportunity. So I connected with these people, and then I thought I have to meet them personally. And I went to almost every European country to really make personal connections, meet them one-on-one over a week. And that was very expensive and time consuming, but it showed me that it works, that I can work with people from everywhere in the world. And then my business has grown till 2018. And that was the peak when we had 43 full-time employees, won a lot of new clients. And then there was a crash because the business has grown so rapidly and complexity increased. And then I had to hire people fast, which was often a compromise in skills. And you can watch a TEDx talk if you want to Google my name, Manuel Pistner TEDx, if you want to join this drama and take your learnings away from that. But in a nutshell, I crashed my business almost against the wall, had to pay 500,000 euro contract penalties. And in the last minute, a virtual team of 12 freelancers that I hired in a single day, they helped me save the entire business by getting the project delivered. And that was just in 4 days. It was totally crazy. And that changed the way I thought about how to build a business and how to lead a business. And I transformed the entire business into a virtual organization. We just today have only 12 employees and 158 freelancers in 67 countries around the globe. And we deliver any kind of digital services to our clients. And that freed myself from like 10 to 16-hour workdays where everything depended on me. And now the team runs the business, right? I have really skilled people from everywhere, no staff shortages anymore. And with this experience, I acquired another business in Hamburg, completely rebuilt it to prove that this was not just a one-time lucky punch, but it works repeatedly. And after that worked, I built FlashHub to help other business owners transform their business into virtual organizations and scale with freelancers. So that's the story in a nutshell.
Fantastic story. You just skipped the karate master career. Tell us what was it in a couple of words?
I started with karate in 2012, and I was the one with the lowest skill level you could ever imagine, right? I was really so bad in all kinds of sports. Also, I tried football and handball and volleyball, and I jumped from sports to sports, and I always had to realize I'm not made for that. I'm really not good. And then I came to karate, and I watched these karate movies, Karate Kid and all the others, yes. And I was so motivated, and I thought, okay, I won't be successful if I just jump from sport to sport. I need to stick with one and just train more and harder than everyone else does. And that's what I did from the year of 14, right? And then when I became 17 years, the national coach approached me and asked me if I want to join some training so that I can join the national team in 2 years or so from now. And it was always my dream to compete on a world championship, but it was so far away. But I always had the mindset of, I just need to train harder and more often than anyone else, right? I was definitely not the one training smart. It was really just hard because I had no skills, no idea. So, and then like this national coach, he looked at me and always thought like, you are totally crazy. So how you train, I never saw someone else training like this. And I said, yes, but I never saw someone else that has this little amount of skills that I have. So I have to compensate that with like working like crazy, right? Training like crazy. Yeah. And then I had a good success. I also won the World Cup in karate in 2009, yeah, with the team.
Wow. For
and
what
that was
age? For juniors or for men?
No, for
age?
For men.
For men.
23 or 24 I was. And I stopped
Fantastic.
with the age of 26. And that's when I decided, so now I have a lot of energy. I build a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've learned the smart way as well, yeah, in the end.
I had to, yeah. I mean, until my business almost crashed, I was just a hardworking business owner. I also had no idea how to build a business. I knew how to develop software, but building a business, the first question I asked a friend that studied economics is, look, if I hire a freelancer and I pay this freelancer 30 euro per hour, it's totally unfair when I get 40 euro per hour from my client. So I don't want to do that, right? This was my understanding of economy. Yeah, and that was really poor. It led through hard times because I had simply no idea. And just when I was able to hire really smart people after 2018 that were much, much smarter in all these parts than I was, then I started to build my business in a smart way because then I had the understanding. But before I had the door open to access global talent, there was simply no way to hire like a full-time COO. No way. Now I have a part-time COO. She's living in Barcelona and she's so experienced and helped me like become a real business owner, not just a stressful employee in my own business.
Excellent. So being smartest person in the room is a high risk. And Manuel just confirmed that, as Steve Jobs says, you know, hire smart people.
Yes.
That's the way to grow your business.
Right.
Excellent. And tell us, when was the defining moment that you decided you wouldn't do anything else but being a virtual business owner? You mentioned 2018 and the crash. Was it that, or there was another moment where?
No, it was that moment. I always had, like when I started in 2012 to work with freelancers across Europe, I felt that this was the way I want to build my business, right? I always ask myself, why do I limit myself with like hiring just local people all the time and it takes 3 to 6 months? But I didn't have the courage just to do it, right? Because I didn't know how I should do it. I just knew what I want, but I had no idea how to get there. And I had no like mentor, coach, person, anyone who could tell me how to do that. Yes. But then when the stress was so high and I had the decision if I either close my business or transform it, I decided to go all in and transform it. And then I thought, you know, when you don't have anything to lose, then it's easy. Then you just do it because you are not afraid of losing something. And that was the moment in 2018 when I saw, okay, my business crashed and I found a complete new way to get projects delivered. So now this is the opportunity to rebuild everything. And then, of course, it was hard because I fired 20 people on a single day and then 10 other people left. And I felt like, okay, now I'm almost alone. But I had over 80 freelancers just in, I don't know, it was just 2-3 months. So it was so fast. I built an HR team with recruiters and assessment, and then I hired freelancers to compensate for those people that didn't want to be in this new business anymore. And that's just possible when you are virtual. And that changed the game for me. And now my workload is just like in this particular business that asked me to work like 10 to 16 hours every day till 2018. I literally lead this business with just 2 hours per day.
Congratulations.
I think I can say that's life-changing.
That is life-changing.
Yes.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about Flash Teams. If I understand correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, the virtual teams on demand that you can mobilize within hours and even shorter, it comes from the Flash team, if I'm not mistaken, from Stanford. Tell us a little bit what it is and how you implemented it in your business.
Yeah, so when I was in this desperate situation, 2018, I researched a lot on the internet, like how to leverage freelancers, build freelancer teams, and get reliable results. Because most people, they already tried working with freelancers, but they just get poor or even no results. And if you watch my TEDx talk, you see how I almost crashed my business with offshoring and nearshoring providers that didn't provide me any transparency and control over the team they gave me. So I researched for that, and I found the studies from the Stanford University, which are Flash teams, Flash organizations, and dream teams. And Flash teams are basically teams of virtual workers, gig workers, freelancers that deliver non-complex tasks like content migration, like image editing, like video editing. So everything that is not complex and that one person alone can do. These are the Flash teams. And they scale if you have the structure in a system. I call that a digital leadership system where you have the workflows and full transparency over every kind of work. Then you can just scale the workforce and they do the work. And you have a video-based onboarding. That's also what I created with my first virtual Flash team, a video-based onboarding training, and then they can get the knowledge. And after this, they do the work and they get leadership by the workflows. So this is how it works for Flash teams. Flash organizations are made to deliver complex project work, which is typically software development, anything that is complex. So also marketing campaigns, etc. And there, the structure is also the key, the structure, how they collaborate. Otherwise, what happens typically is that you just have people and everyone does something, but there is no collaboration. And then you don't even get a result because you just have fragments of work that cannot be put together as one big thing. And if you have proper collaboration structures and full transparency over results and progress, and you have a team that stays accountable on progress and based on KPIs, right? This is how a Flash organization can work, and it's driven by technology and structure. And one core principle is that you delegate work to real experts, not all-rounders. You make sure that you build a team based on a blueprint, defining the roles first with the skills you need and the experience you need so they can get the job done. And then you find people and assess them for these skills and hire them, right? This is the difference too. And there is a new study from 2020 after the lockdowns that was created by the Harvard University, which is called the on-demand workforce, building the on-demand workforce. And there's one statement that I find very exciting. It says that most managers in corporations, they know that they have too much work and they know that needs somebody who takes off the work from their shoulders, but they have no idea which people they need with which skills and which exact work they want to delegate. And more importantly, what should be the result that should be delivered from this person, right? And knowing that will put you in a complete different situation, and hiring becomes a lot easier, and you get results also from people you never met.
Absolutely. Great insights, Manuel. Can you share those links so we could put it in the podcast notes and people could check the Harvard study, the Stanford, if you have them?
Sure.
And really, I'd like just to reiterate what you say. Also working with many remote organizations, key, as Manuel mentioned, is this onboarding, the video onboarding. People document their processes in a very meticulous way, so people can really, in asynchronous matter, can really get up to speed. So this documenting all the knowledge in the organization and making it accessible, key. As you mentioned, the platform, when you have the handover points, so he's like the quality control, artificial intelligence. And then this not all rounders, with Agile, we know the T-shape, you still need some shoulders, some breadth. Here, it looks like the emphasis is on the depth, on the expertise and the clearly defined roles, the blueprints. So anything in this space, I'm sure many of our listeners will find some gems here and research further. Cool. You manage your own, as you say, freelancers and a huge pool of virtual experts. How many people you have in your database, just to give a flavor? Like experts?
3,000 something.
3,000 plus.
Yeah.
So what is your what is the secret from your perspective, leading a large virtual flash organization to lead remote teams? What would be your advice?
Clarity, absolute clarity and transparency. First, clarity. Sorry.
No, I just wanted just go a bit. How do you achieve clarity and how do you achieve transparency in your terms?
It starts with the business owner and the strategy of the business owner, how he or she wants to build a business. What that means is a business, from my perspective, has just one single purpose. And the purpose is solving problems for clients more effectively than they can do it themselves, right?
Yes.
That's the purpose. So now if you build a business, you need to know the strategy, and the strategy means you need to know which kind of people you want to help and which problems they have and how you solve them. And the how you solve them is your products or services. Right. Yes. So when you know that, what exactly you do for clients or what exactly you deliver to your clients, services or products, right? Everything else builds up on that. Your marketing can create marketing campaigns and funnels to address exactly these people you want to support with exactly the problems they have, as they typically have a problem awareness mindset, right? So that's how you build a marketing funnel campaign and can completely automate sales. And on the other side, you build a delivery system, so-called assembly lines with quality standards, so that your team knows exactly what they need to deliver to make your client successful. And on top of that, you build KPIs so that the team can see the effectiveness of their work and you can monitor results and progress instead of being the bottleneck and everyone depends on you. Right? That's how you build a self-managing business with total clarity about what the business does and how it does, and how everyone in the team contributes to it, and how performance is measured.
Excellent. Fantastic. Now, you've mentioned for entrepreneurs, dealing with failure is a particular concept, because we know many businesses fail, probably 9 out of 10 fail within 3 years or so. There is a research on that. And some entrepreneurs just give up and so on. How do you deal with failure? And you've been karate world champion, so you've as Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan before it gets punched on the face. So as a
smart
karate
guy.
master, yes, entrepreneur, what's your secret of dealing with failure?
Yeah, and everyone has a plan before they get punched in the face. But even if you get punched in the face, you didn't lose. You just lose if you stop. That's the only thing. Never give up. We all know what happens when you give up. And when you give up, it's over. But when you always continue, it's not over. Then it will just get better. And getting better means solving one problem after another. And most people, they give a problem, they give the label failure. But that's not the case. It's just an obstacle you need to overcome, and that requires work. And that requires keeping a solution-focused mindset, because whenever you see a problem and you think, oh my God, another problem, how should I do this? How should I overcome this? And what will be all the problems after this problem? Then you never start, because your entire world is perceived as a problem, right? That's it. You always need to look beyond the problem and then just solve it. And if it's hard, okay, it's hard. Then you solve it, and it was hard, and you've grown and solved the problem. That's how it goes. Yeah.
Perfect. So they say you either win or learn. So if you have the mindset of learning from failures, do you have any rituals to help you? Because from very early age, you will never give up and fight forward. Any rituals to support that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a really routine day. I get up early in the morning around 6, then I take a cold shower, I meditate, then I do sports. And then I start my day with getting the hardest thing done, right? So that I can get this done no matter what comes.
Eat the frog, they call it.
Yeah, eat the frog, right? And then I work really strictly with time boxes. I don't allow any interruption to distract me. So I never answer the phone. I just open my emails once a day. I just read my messages once a day. So this is the structure that gives me freedom to be the owner of my own time. And when I'm the owner of my own time and just not driven by others that want my time, then I can consciously decide what would be the next thing to either overcome an obstacle or improve the business or myself or whatever I'm working on. This is really key for me. Yeah.
Excellent. It pays back, as we all see. You mentioned time boxing. What is your window? How many minutes is your focused work?
45, sometimes an 45. Hour. Yeah.
Okay. Some people I go for 25, maybe for more creative sessions. Then I do a little break and then again. but it's an individual. Everyone should have his own rhythm, but context switching is the killer. So
exactly, and I think the success comes not from how big your time box is. The success comes from being focused on one thing and doing it without anything else, and then not stressing out that you have to do other things. Just focus on this one single thing and do it and enjoy it, and then do the next thing. And this is all about prioritization, right? When you have clear priorities, then you can enjoy work because you know that you always do the things that are most important. While other people, they get overwhelmed with all the work that comes on their desk or in their inboxes, and they get distracted all day, and they're asking themselves, how can I get all the work done? And the answer is, you can't get all the work done. So you need to accept that you can't get all the work done. There's always more work than there is time. So the only thing to do is prioritize and then do the most important thing, and accept that those things that are not important just fall off the desk. And it's okay, because you did the most important things. And then you can enjoy work instead of stressing out.
Absolutely. The big rocks, I call them, is the most important thing. You start first with them, then you could put all the little pebbles. There's a beautiful video from Stephen Covey before prioritization and the big rocks. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
So you have a lot of stories to tell and great experiences. What would be your most exciting or most exotic experience with remote virtual teams?
Well, I have really a lot, but so the first most exciting one was the experience that you can see in the TEDx talk, how a virtual team of 12 freelancers saved my business. So that was the key. Without that, I think I would never have made this transformation. And then the other part is that most people, they think and believe that you need to hire people full time because, and then there are all kinds of reasons, right? They tell themselves the story that prevents them from ever trying something differently. But if I started working with freelancers, I saw that it's really crazy how many smart people you can get access to and how willing they are to help you if you treat them well, give them exciting tasks, and pay them well. And that all the typical structures most people think a business needs to build up on, they are just like old. That was valid in the times when we built like factories, when we need people for human labor. They just do repeatable tasks, and there is one person that thinks and another person that does. But nowadays, the flexibility that you get with an on-demand workforce and freelancers, etc., gives me much more certainty and safety, because I know that whenever there is a problem I can't solve, I have an expert within like 3 to 5 days. And that was never possible when I just had a local workforce. And I had, there are other things. I even do this in my private life, right? My wife, she has many allergies, so she cannot eat a lot. She has allergies against wheat and gluten and milk and many other things. And I wanted to buy a big cake for her birthday, and I didn't find one that was free of all these ingredients. So what I did is I hired a virtual team, and they researched that, and they phone called these bakeries, and I had this cake. Another thing is I had an office in 2018. Unfortunately, I signed the contract shortly before I rebuilt my organization. 1,000 square meters. Luckily, today it's completely sub-rented. But I wanted to rebuild the interior design of this business, and I did it with a virtual team. So I tried to hire a local agency first, and it was so slow and took so long, and it was so expensive. So I stopped that. Then I took my smartphone and went through the office and just created a video, talking on the video what I want to see when this interior is rebuilt. And then I went to my HR team and told them, it was in 2018. So the organizational structure was not that good as it is today. I asked my HR lead, look, I need a guy who can do this for me. I have no idea whom I need. And she said, yeah, you need an interior designer. And I was like, okay, then go find me one. That would be nice. And I created a video on Sunday morning. And on Sunday evening, I had an interview with Zaki from Dubai. And this guy was an interior designer. He got a video already. And he said, look, I will build you a complete 3D walkthrough through your office. And I was like, okay, that sounds nice. And then he said, then you can iterate. And after this, we find someone who rebuilds it. And I said, okay, deal, let's do that. He asked me to bring him in contact with my marketing team lead and with a designer. The marketing team lead was these days in the Philippines. We had a designer in Argentina and an art director in Serbia. And these people collaborated on this 3D walkthrough. And like it was 3 weeks or so, and then I could literally virtually walk through my new office. And then I gave feedback, etc. It took another week and it was done. So, and then Taki just researched a contractor around my office that could create a proposal and then rebuild it. And then this contractor called me and said, Taki from Dubai called me. I have no idea who this guy is, but he said you are an important client. So how can I help you? And then I said, okay, you have the video already and you know what I want to do. Just look at it and create a proposal.
Yes.
He did, he rebuilt it. It was fascinating. And then he asked me, okay, now you need to do the acceptance. And I was like, oh, I have no idea now what I accept. I never did that. So what I did next is I took my smartphone, had a video call with Taki. I led him through the entire office and he made circles on the screen and screenshots of everything that need to be tweaked, adjusted, fixed, right? Basically bugs in the office, as we would say in the software development. Yeah, and then the contractor just fixed these things and then the office was rebuilt. So that showed me that you can very well separate the planning work and the creative work, which can happen virtually, from the one work that really needs to require physical presence, which is very often a lot less than most people think. So separating work and really defining roles clearly and work items clearly, you can get more flexibility and access to global talent.
Absolutely. Fascinating story.
Yeah.
And just reiterates your tip about clarity and transparency, particularly on the clarity part, leading remote workers, absolute clarity. And another tip that I reiterate in my keynotes is over communicate. In a sense, as you did the video, very clearly explain what do you need with this now technology allows to have multiple senses involved, hearing, seeing. If you make sure people understand what do you need, and the video is like the proof, you could hire remote workers. As you rightly said, if you know what knowledge do you need, if you know what you need and what knowledge is needed, there is no barriers, as articulated in your stories.
Yes.
Now, let's go into the technology. You mentioned technology is a key enabler also for your process in Flash Teams, but in general, what would be your tips for technology that facilitate virtual collaboration? What are your favorite tools or apps that you use to enable the collaboration of your team?
I get this question very often, and honestly, I'm typically used to say, ignore the tools and first get clarity about what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, you can just install the nicest tool, and there are so many out there, and they are all nice, and they all work somehow, right? It doesn't matter if you have, like, for work tracking, Jira, Asana, Trello, Weekdone, whatever, they all work. But it's so tempting to get caught in another tool and distracted from getting clarity of what you really want to accomplish with that tool. And if you don't have this clarity and you don't know how you get this result, the workflows in other way, then you just have a tool that makes your work more efficient. But if you do the wrong work very efficiently, then you just do like crap very efficiently. So that's why I always would start with which kind of result do you want and how do you want to get the work done? And then how should the team collaborate? And then find a tool that supports this virtual collaboration. And then it's easy because the tools are all pretty good. So what you need is a work tracking tool, right? You need to get transparency of work. You don't want to rely on emails and chat messages and video messages. You want to be able to share your screen, look at the work, and then discuss the work with your team. That is the one main thing that you need. And then you need, of course, a way to create video messages, a way to create video calls, and then also chat messages and a file sharing. But this is all commodity, right? There is no rocket science behind the tools, really.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Clarity is the key, knowing what you want.
Absolutely.
And then, as you said, having a single point of visual, single point of reference, and discuss with the team.
Yeah. Showing versus telling is typically the one rule that we have in meetings. I don't want people to talk a lot. I want them to show the work and then discuss, find the problem, analyze the problem, and then find a solution. This is everything we do in meetings. Right. And that's why we also have an asynchronous check-in where everyone reports their current KPIs so that they are prepared when they join the meeting. Otherwise, it's just blah, blah, blah. And the result is another meeting.
Showing versus telling, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you read or listen at the moment? It's a question like for resources, inspirational sources for you that we could share.
Yeah, I have like 160 audiobooks that I'm listening to. And currently it's about philosophy. It's from Eckhart Tolle. It's called A New World.
Okay, must be a new one.
Yeah, which describes how the consciousness of human beings needs to change in order to solve all the problems that we have on our planet, right? I find that very inspiring. Yeah.
The Power of Now was his.
Power of Now is the first one.
And now is, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Last question. And you've mentioned, just I will lead it a little bit. There was a research before COVID and lockdown that in the US, the workforce will be like 43% will be not permanent employees, but temporary workers. Now, your experience, you have 100% temporary workers. What do you think is the future of virtual teams broadly?
Yeah, I think it's that. It's gig workers, on-demand workers. That's also what the study from the Harvard University building the on-demand workforce shows, that in the future, most businesses will have a much, much smaller permanent workforce. And why is that? Because work gets more complex and change happens at ever increasing speed. So your workforce needs to change and be flexible in skills and availability. And from an economical point, it makes no sense to have all these people employed that you might need in a specific amount of time in the future. So the flexibility becomes key. This is the economical side from the business. But on the other side, people also want more freedom and independence. And if they have a permanent job and they get the rules dictated when they should work, how they should work, and in which location they should work, I think this doesn't align with their interest anymore. And now COVID showed that it's possible to work differently. So there is no way that employers can tell their teams that it's absolutely necessary to be in an office because they experienced it works differently, right? It's not perfect, but working in an office is also not perfect. So I think this is that businesses have to adapt according to the needs of their workers to be attractive in the future for them.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the crystal clear advice and the pragmatic tips. It's been an honor having you, Manuel.
Absolutely. The same for me. Thanks for inviting me. It was great talking to you. Thank you very much.
Great.